people, I still see some people are like so caught up, like, oh man, I want to have a Grammy one day. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm like, I'm satisfied. Just get some fans that's gonna buy whatever you put out.
Exactly.
That's, to me, is better than anything. Because by the time somebody decides you're good enough to have a Grammy, you pretty much already have built a fan base already. Unless you just come out of nowhere and they're like, who's that won a Grammy? And then that Grammy will get you notoriety, but most of the time it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, and you know what? It goes back to what you were saying. A lot of people, they want the Grammy because they want the notoriety. They want the credibility. So it's really not about... I mean, yeah, it's a great achievement, but I think for most people, not anyone that I know, but, I think for most people it's really just about saying, oh, I have a Grammy, saying it's not really whether there's money at the end of that Grammy or not. They may say, oh, well, yeah, give me opportunities, but that's not the real reason why they want a Grammy. They just want it for,
And it's an excuse to upcharge people. Because, literally, if you're playing Warm Daddies and you're a Grammy award-winning artist, it's kind of like, you kind of have the balls to charge $50 at the door because it's Grammy award winning. Even if you're nominated, it's like, whoa, I'm Grammy nominated.
Grammy nominated so and so. Yeah, that's. Now I have another. I'm not sure if you had any questions for me.
No,
because I wanted, because this is one thing that I wanted to. I've been trying to get answers for this, and I still don't understand the whole idea of endorsements and why they're super important for musicians specifically.
Like I said, the hype.
Yeah.
Hype is a drug. Especially, now mind you, you mainly see it, not to bash my good drummers, because my first instrument was the drums.
You said it, I didn't.
My oldest sister played drums, and I wanted to be a drummer first. So let's get it out the way that I hate drummers, because I don't. But you mainly see it with drummers, because for some reason, drummers are drummers. It's like... An endorsement is like a stamp of legitimacy, apparently, to some musicians because of our egos. So it's like, apparently, if they feel like they're on a roster, then that they've made it or something like that. And it's really like, it's really not that big a deal because it's supposed to be work. Like you're endorsing a company. So basically, you have a job now. Like you're supposed to promote whatever company endorsed you. So,
but do musicians actually get paid for those endorsements? Most of them?
No. The only people that really get paid are the people way at the top of the food chain who actually do like clinics and stuff like that. People that, a crowd's coming to see them and to promote the brand. Like specifically, you get a clinic fee from the companies. People like that. Or if you have a signature series. So like if somebody makes, I think, what's that black-owned piano company?
Oh, Chad
or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
So if Shad builds you a piano and you're a Shad artist and you go out and do concerts sponsored by Shad, then you'll get paid from Shad from situations like that. But the majority of musicians aren't getting paid for endorsements. So
what do they get? That's my question.
They get the hype. The hype of being endorsed, the thrill of going on Facebook and being like, oh, thank God for my new family, Sabian, and all our friends be like, bro, you're amazing, this and that and this and that. Now, mind you, they never say what percentage rate they have off of cymbals, because some people they'll be endorsed in contract, but they're still paying 70% for cymbals, and like 70%, like that's 70% off retail is what you get in Sam Ash. It's not even a real endorsement. You know what I'm saying? Like, but because they have that on their resume, it's like, oh, I'm a Sabian artist. I'm on my picture's on the roster. That's a rush, man. That's a rush for a lot of people.
Yeah, and at the end, and that's part of the reason why I was kind of confused, because I'm like, so how does that equate to getting a bill paid at the end of the day? Like,
it doesn't, because like we said, hype is a high, and like that high will negate bills, apparently. In fact, it's even worse because it's like, okay, now I have to buy cymbals, which will put me in
further
even
in
more debt if I don't have anything coming back. And Sabian's not going to send me any checks. So they just added to my debt,
Basically.
but they added to the hype, which is okay.
The respect.
Because hype rules the world. Apparently. I mean, I was never got into all that. Like when I went to NAMM this year, I got, I guess, so-called endorsed, but it wasn't even a real endorsement. Like I didn't sign a contract. And I think when I saw my boy Rashid out there, he was like, my contract ran out for all my companies years ago. So it's like, I'm not under contract with any company, but I get free gear from this company, that company, that company. So at that point, it's about relationships. So if you have relationships, that supersedes endorsements.
Right.
And then if you have a relationship with somebody, you don't have to brag about it. You don't have to use them to get you more clout. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like people with relationships, people like with me with non-linear labs, they sent me a $4,000 keyboard. I didn't sign a contract. I didn't sign any of that stuff. It's about relationships.
Right.
When you have a relationship, now that I got it, I want to start putting out demos. I want to, figure it out. And it's working for me. They don't have to send me any money because I'm cool. Like I didn't pay for it. So it's like, it's a mutual thing. They get more eyes on their product. I get a new shiny keyboard. So it's like, it's a mutual thing, but it's not like I didn't get it for clout. And I think a lot of musicians, they want endorsements for the clout of being endorsed. Not even so much for what they're actually using it for, or even so much how they can promote it to other people for the company. You notice you never hear people actually talking about brands of stuff like, oh, you should get this, you should get that. It's always, oh, my company, my family.
Right. So they're not really endorsing the company. They're just talking about.
They're talking about themselves and the fact that they're happy that, they're connected to this company. But I'm like, well, what are you doing for it? Like, are you trying to get up the pecking order to get to the final level? Like, we'll say, like, the final level, like Brian Fraser Moore, Little John Roberts, people like that who don't have to pay for cymbals at all. If they want a cymbal, they get sent a cymbal. Like, when you get to that level, and you notice the people at that level, they're not even talking about it.
Right, they don't care. They know it's not important.
Because it's like, I've been with Sabian for 20 years. Like, why should I don't care. Like, but everyone else is like, oh, man, I just got with this company. And I'm just like, dude, it's really not that big a deal. Especially if you're still struggling to like make a name for yourself.
Exactly. And the irony about marketing is like, and this is actually have experienced this already, is if you're doing your part in marketing, then people are going to come to you. You wouldn't even have to go looking for connects or plugs. They'll come to you because they'll know about you. That's actually what happened to me when I was and I wasn't even like really looking for connects. I was just kind of just doing my own thing. I was concerned about just making my own living with my courses. And I received a phone call from one of my students, my online students, because the way it works is, whenever someone buys my course, I'm not really there to do the transaction for them, so I don't really know who these people are. They just buy my course and just keep it moving. So because my phone number is on my my website, and this one person called me. I'm not gonna mention their names, but they were one of my students, and they called me. And they're like, yeah, I bought your course and I liked the way that you kind of had things set up in terms of your ad and the way you presented the course before I bought it. And I just wanted to let you know that I am the manager for so-and-so, and it was a major artist. Ooh. And basically the reason why he called me, because I thought he had called me because he had a question about the course, Right. So he called me. He was like, yeah, I spoke with, this particular artist, and they wanted me to basically come in on a particular project that they were, in the process of making. So just that kind of fell through for many reasons, but the point is I didn't go looking for them. I was just busy doing what I was supposed to do, and then the opportunity came to me. Right. So, but even more importantly, I was going to make it whether the opportunity came to me or not. Right. And that's basically the bottom line at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the drive. I don't think people have that drive to do what they're doing, and just be ready when the calls come. I think people just expect the calls to be there for whatever reason. I mean, which is another mystery that behooves me. It's like the people won't invest in themselves and then expect things to happen. Right. I don't understand it. I was just talking on the other episode with Devin, he was saying the same thing about the videos, because he's a videographer, and he's frustrated because artists will say one thing, but then when it's time to
actually pay,
when it's time to pay, it's like, oh, I don't know, and it's just like, do you want to be seen or not? Like your Instagram videos are cool, but like these are professional produced videos that's only going to enhance your career. But I guess they figured their marketing is going to come from wherever. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's interesting you say that, because even when it comes to people who do like what Devin does in terms of videography and photography, which is in a way it's like higher end type of services, because I'm pretty sure he charges a lot for that, because it's videography, but I ran into the same issue when I first started out, was dealing with people who were kind of like cheapskates, and it got so bad to where when I was taking, and this is when I was taking phone calls from people, like sales calls and whatnot. And what I would do to weed out the people who weren't serious is they would have to fill out a form before they got on the phone with me.
Wow.
So they would have to go, okay, name, phone number, email, tell me about your company. And one of the most important questions is, what is your budget? So if you don't have a certain budget ready to do business, we're not getting on the phone, because I'm not going to get on the phone with tire kickers, as we call them.
Wow.
So when it comes to people who come to me and say, they get frustrated about the people that they run into who are trying to be cheap, I say, because that's one of the things that they feel like, do I have to downgrade my prices? And I said, don't downgrade your prices, upgrade your customers. Because there's always somebody who's going to have the money to pay you. You just have to find out who they are and where they are. And it actually reminds me of another friend of mine who, she actually consults people on building courses. And one of the things she told me, I'm trying to remember how she said it. She said, people who are worried about money can't afford you, and those who can will wonder why you're priced so low.
Wow.
Because people who have the money to pay you, they're not thinking about money, they're thinking about the value of the service that you're giving them. So they're not concerned about getting the cheapest service, they're worried about getting the best service, and they're willing to pay top dollar for it. So those are the people you need to prioritize when it comes to the service that you provide.
Right.
So
man, that's a whole lot of nuggets. So, awesome conversation. Where can people find you?
Oh man,
if they're trying to get lessons, or reach out to you and become a fan and all that good stuff.
So, I'm not taking any more private lessons, but I am. If you want to buy my course, my piano course online, that is at it's www. I can never say that. www.themusicalweb, and the web has to be spelled with 2 B's because it's a play on my last name, .com. And if you want to look into, because I have a course on my other site called Freelance and Thrive, and that's the course that teaches freelancers and service-based businesses, musicians included, on how to get paying clients, how to get gigs through paid advertising. That's on my other website. And that one is the digitalweb.teachable.com. So that's how you can find us.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, this has been an amazing conversation.
Awesome conversation.
It's definitely plenty of nuggets that I'm definitely going to be stealing. Yeah. So, Ayana Webb, we thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me here.
And we're out.